Happy Aquarius season. I hope that everyone is making the most of it so far. In the messages for this pick a card session, they may be about Aquarius season 2020 in particular for a lot of us. They may also be about what is ignited in Aquarius season and grows and comes to life more fully later on this year, later on at any time for that matter. And so in that way, these messages and readings can absolutely be thought of as timeless, as are most of Lunatics Tarot's readings. So there are 6 of them for you to choose from. Do choose as many as you feel called to, and I will show you those in just a minute. I did want to say, though, that because I am thinking of these as alien messages, since it is Aquarian season, they are expected to be otherworldly and or foreign to us in some way, what they relate to in our life or how they show up in the reading. So with that said, thank you so much as always for all of your support to Lunatics Tarot. And if you are interested in personal readings, donations, or the decks that we are using, just scroll down to the description box down below as always. That's where your timestamps will be, and I will go ahead and put them in the comments for us as well. Okay, so here are our reading options for our alien messages in Aquarius season 2020. Reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, reading 4, reading 5, reading 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reading 1 is a very small piece of tiger's eye. Reading 2, I believe, is a piece of Amazonite. If you know better, please let me know. I think that's what this is. Gorgeous. I love the color. And then I have another that is similar. And I would guess that it is Amazonite as well. See, so I want to say they're 2 different things, but that's as close as I can get for both of them so far. In any case, it's my best guess. Amazonite. Again, let me know if you know better here. The 3rd reading is marked with a 2-toned, polished piece of Amethyst. Reading 4 here is marked with an almost pyramid-like piece of polished rose quartz. And then the only raw piece on the table is a piece of citrine. That is reading 5 here. Citrine crystal. And then last but not least, reading 6 is marked with a piece of black obsidian, which cannot wait to be cleansed under this new moon in Aquarius coming up here in just a couple of days. So again, those are in the comments and the description below, the timestamps for each of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we will go ahead and get started now with reading 1, the small piece of tiger's eye. Okay, reading 1 with the slight piece of polished tiger's eye. I see that you have recently manifested a new path, a new partnership, and a new earthly opportunity more recently. This earthly opportunity, whether you realize it or not, has been handed to you from the divine and is a direct result of this lover's energy and the root of the situation here. So that partnership that formed, that new path, new choice you decided to take, to walk, this lengthy entanglement with either a romantic partner or a business partner, or partnership of some type, has led to this new opportunity. The other alternative here is that this is Geminian energy showing up. So a significant Gemini coming into your life, or a significant Geminian energy awakening in your chart somewhere, could also be what has caused this earthly opportunity that, again, you've manifested and is also awarded to you, afforded to you by the divine. It's very exciting, and yet it seems that you are afraid of your own success here in this partnership, on this path, with this new opportunity. When I say it's a new earthly opportunity, what I mean is that it's an opportunity that offers you security, health, and wealth. It is just an ace, so it is just a seed. It is the type of opportunity that does have to be taken full advantage of. That seed has to be watered, right? You have to grow that opportunity. But if you do, it can absolutely offer you security and greater health, greater wealth. And I think that you realize that much. I think that you see that reading one. I really do. It's just, as I said, you're afraid of your own success, or there's a decision and direction that has to be made here because of this opportunity, and you're having trouble deciding. But I highly doubt it. If anything, I think it's probably masked as that, when in fact the real reason for a lack of focus is not a lack of insight into which way you want to go, what you truly want, what you're capable of, but it's fear. It's fear that's blocking you. When your ego is quiet, you know that this is a brand new beginning full of potential and adventure, and that it is time to take a risk. Lay it all on the line, put it out there, show us what you got. It's time to jump. To take your chance, to take this opportunity. But you hesitate too, and some of the fear might come from the fact that your success seems to be manifesting into the fruits of your labor, the rewards that you see in return for what you have invested here. Very slowly. That seems to be happening very slowly. So that may be where there's some resistance and some fear. You know that you've already chosen this new path. You've already manifested this new opportunity, and so success is upon you. Success is present. Success is on the table. Success is here already. It's more a matter of when will you see all of the rewards, all of the fruits of those labors. That may be what has a lot of you putting your foot on the brakes here. But whatever it is that is creating that fear, that resistance, that blockage there, maybe indecision, I do believe that on the path that you're on now, the reading here sees you overcoming it. It acknowledges that that's where we find you, and yet we see this Two of Cups here in the near future. So that partnership continues on. This opportunity proves to be what you wanted, just as good of a match for you as this path or person, partner that you've paired with here in the root of the situation. And of course, another ace wants to show. The Ace of Water this time. We will talk a little bit about that, as it is your advice card here. So reading one, what I see this piece of advice as for you here. Essentially, it's telling you to sing from your soul. So to speak, sing from your soul. So reveal your truth, tell your story, connect to another or your audience, perhaps, rather than concentrate on hitting the right notes. With the Ace of Cups, the Lovers, the Two of Cups, 2 twos, and 2 aces, it very much seems like this has been a love reading. It is a love reading, group 1, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is about a lover's romance, right? It could be a new love and a new opportunity to share and open up and grab a hold of some security concerning, you know, a passion of yours, that you, something you love to do, or a new friendship, or having an opportunity to connect with a family member just came through as well. In any case, reading 1, those of you in reading 1, 2-2 or 1-1, either one may be particularly significant to you at this time. Either one may hold an additional message for you at this time. This is another card, just like the Fool card, that's telling you it is time to take a leap. I get a lot of physical confirmation for you every time that I say anything like that, as I'm getting again now as I say that. Someone may be very eager, very intense, which may be encouraging you to hesitate. Might be amplifying some fear that was already there for you concerning this new path or connection. Excuse me. This new opportunity. But again, be open, be honest, take a chance on this person or path. If you're seeking additional clarity, as I said, look into 2-2 or 1-1, or they may just be particularly significant for you. Some of you, you know, I've hesitated to say this up to this point, what some of you may be dealing with what you believe to be, and I don't mean that to be demeaning in any way, but just to be as inclusive as possible, right? Okay, so some of you may be dealing with what you believe to be a twin flame relationship. So for those of you who are seeing this in some sort of romantic light, it may be that you have this romantic interest, but you even though, you know, this connection has already formed, this bond has already formed, you're not sure they're your twin flame and that's who you're looking for, or you're afraid that your twin flame is someone that you left behind, or if the label that you like isn't twin flame, then insert whatever other label you know, would stand for the divine partnership that you know is currently fits the mold for you. And again, that is not to be demeaning or to suggest that they're all the same, but just how I'm explaining it because of how they show up in my readings, because of how I personally look at things like that. And I do think that there's a difference in these journeys and in all of ours individually. But I just see that that's specifically for some of you another potential blockage, something else that might be creating that fear or resistance that we see. And again, I do see you overcoming that, choosing to take this risk, choosing to open up, to reveal, continue to form this partnership, this bond. This is really so much about allowing yourself to have what it is you truly desire by chasing it with your authenticity. Chasing it with a willingness to open up, be seen, show yourself, tell your truth, share all of you in pursuit of this desire. Bear it all for the chance at what I see you getting here. For the chance at solidifying a bond between you and a person, or you and a path, you and a chosen passion of yours. And if you really do risk it here, that's exactly what I see you getting. That's exactly how it turns out. So I think that is where we will leave your message, your alien messages in Aquarius season 2020, reading 1. I do hope that the needed insight, some of the needed insight was able to reach you here. I thank you again. And I truly look forward to doing another pick a card reading for us, which I will be doing quite soon. So that said, we will move on. Bye, loves. So reading 2. The green Amazonite. And the root of this situation, reading 2, what's coming through here in your alien messages in Aquarius season 2020, we see the root of the situation as the Strength card. Someone doing the honorable thing, so likely taming some desire of theirs. It definitely tells us that this whole story stems from someone engaging in unconditional self-love, showing unconditional love and care, TLC, to their mind, body, and spirit, including their emotional body in there, of course, right? Now, it may have been specifically because they had to tame their desire for something. But again, I do definitely see someone doing the honorable thing here. And these are likely the same characters right here. But of course, this Strength card energy could also be a Leo character. And so that's the other message that could be coming through, is that everything we're going to talk about stems from a Leo character having entered the picture, or Leo energy having awakened within you. So we'll see how this plays out. You can see how the messages already start to branch off. But then in the more recent past, the self-care has continued, maybe taken down a notch. But there has still been a need for some solemn contemplation and meditation, maybe receiving some energetic healing, but certainly contemplating and meditating in total silence and solitude. Some of you may have even been incubating ideas while in that space. But you certainly wanted to be free of anyone else's opinions, influences, ideas. And because of all of this rest, we find you presently focused and stable. rest, meditation, solitude, energetic healing. Yet someone here is in this picture, in this situation, is not in a happy or comfortable or peaceful home or family life. It may be you, and your ego has to be quiet in order for you to admit that to yourself. 4-4 may hold an additional message for you here if you find you need or want more clarification. Or it may just have some particular specific significance for you around this time. See this strength, this honorable move, the taming of one's desire here. That could have been you or someone close to you. It's interesting. If we're talking about two different energies, it's almost like they're very similar, or they're either very similar or they blend together as if they're one energy because of the nature of their connection or something like that. Because it seems that we're talking about all one individual's journey here, and yet I know there are two energies combined, and here, just here, it does feel like there are multiple energies. So it's either that or there's just multiple messages coming through, but you will see how it applies and resonates to you if it does. And I'd be very interested to hear how it does, if it does, in the comments. But it does seem that because of a lengthy period of solitude and rest and doing the honorable thing, showing oneself unconditional love, that someone has leads up to this moment of focus and stability, where they're very much in charge of their household, of their life, of their schedule, of their resources, their demands, their time. They're running the show at work, at home. They're the boss, one place or both. And that may or may not be you. That may or may not be you. You may have just come out of a period of reflection that allows you to see that this bossy individual is a little too controlling and too egotistical. While they are focused and stable, this is a very masculine energy, and it can at times be domineering. You may be able to see that clearly now that you've come out of a period of rest, a lengthy period of rest. Or, yes, you've come out of a period of rest recently, but the reason you find yourself in this situation is because you tamed your desire for what you truly wanted long ago. Or perhaps this individual that you're dealing with is being so demanding and commanding and controlling and bossy, egotistical, impossible to deal with, and creating this unhappy environment for you both because they tamed their desire for what they truly wanted here in the root of the situation. Okay, this could absolutely be applied in a romantic sense. I can hear the story in that way, but it could be a different type of partnership. So there's just a few different ways this plays out. Are you the boss now because you've rested up? Or are you able to see the bossy energy in your immediate inner circle home environment for what it truly is, because you've been in reflection? As I said, these two energies, it's either that they're very similar, and or that they because of their connection, they're sort of blending together as one energy here. They're needing to, they're trying to, they're succeeding in that, I think, here in the near future. The situation calls for precision, patience, forgiveness. It does call for this focus, but a calm, quiet, effortless focus. Not one with an intensity that promises to eat you alive. One with an ease. I'm not saying that these types of predators don't make their attacks look effortless, but it's less intense than that. It's quieter, it's calmer. It isn't about gaining, winning, surviving. It's about creating harmony, making music together. And I sense that there's one of you that's struggling with that. There may be this sort of power struggle happening within the home. There's this call and need for balance here in the near future. And I see you achieving it. I see you finding it, because these two energies are a good combination. I think this is the same character for most of us anyway, for most of you reading too. And we see someone continuing to make the honorable move, do the honorable thing, and be resourceful and patient with this person in this situation, with this personality and this instability. That's so hard to unmask and to cure, which is why I said this individual has to be resourceful too, in implementing perhaps an idea they've been coming up with and how to reach this other person. And I think it's going to work, or this other energy. And we could be talking about two halves of yourself. It could be. In which case we're likely talking about Aries energy, and then like either Leo or Earth energy. And I don't know what respective parts of your charts that individually would be found in, right? That's going to depend on each individual. We could certainly do a personal reading. Information on that is down below in the description if I didn't tell you at the beginning already. But I think we see this individual continuing to make the honorable move, maybe trying to implement an idea they've been cooking for a while and how to reach this person. I think it works. Yeah, I think they're just choosing to be patient. They see they have a goal in mind, and they're just going to have to be patient with this unfortunate environment for some time. They're either going to find a way to blend harmoniously with this very dominating individual, or if there just ain't no talking to this man or masculine energy here, then this patience, this forgiveness, this harmony found is just that this individual is able to approach this dominating personality, speak to, reason with them in such a precise and delicate manner that they're able to, get along, get out of the situation, get along well enough for long enough, for as long as they have to, right? But it does seem like it's this uncomfortableness within a family, or maybe even within a specific home environment, which just seems very trying. I'm sure many of us can relate to that from some time or another, We're going to get a piece of advice here for you as well, reading 2 from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And then I think after that we will leave your reading there. There's definitely a need to pay attention to the details. Whether you are now a leader and a boss, an authority figure, or you are dealing with one, especially in trying to fix a home-like environment or a family-like support system, there is this need to pay attention to the details. And then we have the King of Water as a piece of advice, immediately telling me that you want to handle this diplomatically. You want to have patience. You want to observe everyone's emotion here in the situation, including your own, and act accordingly. Let it show that you have, you know, emotional intelligence here, right? Let that shine. Let that lead. Some of you, there is another message here, and I know we're already 15 minutes into this message about, and here I'm going to say there is another message here. Some of you, because you have been taking care of yourself, spending time in solitude, as I said, resting and healing, taming desires for things that you know aren't really good for you or meant for you, have progressed to this point of feeling... having your masculine energy feel very much alive, whether you know you're male or female, and you're on the prowl for a mature, elevated partner whose energy matches the level of your own. And as I said, I see you finding someone here, possibly maybe it is romantic in nature, who matches well with you, whose stability and focus and determination will match yours well, but they're not as mature as you yet. You do have to be patient with them. They know that. They're not in a hurry to mature any more than they are to claim that they are somewhere that they're not, right? Maybe they're just simply younger than you. But your energies complement one another nonetheless. Their pace in general may be a little slower than yours. And one or both of you is currently in an unhappy home situation, and the two of you are going to come together and cure that for one another. And then in that case, in that particular scenario, there's the harmony we see then. But your advice then is to lead in approaching this potential, whether it's a lover, a roommate, a friend, etc., to lead with your emotional intelligence, your diplomacy, your ability to listen, perhaps to counsel, to identify with this individual empathetically. If you do happen to be in a situation where you're considering getting away from an energy in your home or family life, and there is another option around you, again, it doesn't have to be romantic. I just keep hearing these messages that way. But you're sort of on the fence about it, then you are advised toward that type of energy, emotionally intelligent, or maybe a mature masculine, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio specifically, or maybe just someone who embodies those emotionally intelligent, very empathetic, sensitive, creative, artistic qualities. That's something else that this King of Water can often be, a creative and artistic, a healer, a counselor. These might all be the types of activity you're advised toward here. If you're the boss, if you're in charge, is it, are you trying to make a business out of doing something creative or healing like that you're very interested in? You're definitely advised toward that if that is on the table for you. Yeah, I do believe that it is very directly saying to allow your feelings to guide a decision. Oh, address a cause for jealousy is noted here. That could be the detail. If someone's acting this domineering, controlling, impatient, commanding way with you, is there some jealousy here? It suggests this card that you marry critical thinking and emotional logic. You want to make sure you're present in your relationships. Is there a need for excitement in this relationship, this home? Is that the detail that we don't want to overlook? Some of you may need to play both mother and father here, whether I mean that literally, specifically. That might be the detail that's being overlooked in your home. You know, if there's a parent missing, someone here may need, you know, the mother side as well as the father side, or vice versa, right? Again, I might mean that specifically literally, or someone in the home is just needing your nurturing and to see your feminine motherly side as well as your masculine commanding one. Or again, it could even be flip-flopped. You may want to take into account that no decision can be balanced without emotions and feelings being taken into account. That's a quote directly from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot guidebook that I'm peeking at here. I know that's a terrible view of it, but it is a gorgeous book. It's fading, hard for you to see anyway, but it's because I've just been wearing it out, using it for quite a while now. And that line that I just spoke, I quoted directly from here. Now, if you don't feel that way, someone here does. All decision making has an emotional element. No decision can be balanced without emotions and feelings being taken into account. So it may be very pivotal here that someone believes that where someone else does not. If you do not believe that, you need to be very mindful of the fact that someone else does. Or other way around, you may need to be very mindful that that's exactly what you're dealing with here, someone who doesn't necessarily see their decision making that way. Make sure you're considering your feelings in your decision-making processes. It may be that you need to seek a counselor, some of you, for this unhappy family or home life. That may be the healing, the forgiveness, the harmony we see in the future might be happening because someone is committed to the long-term goal of true stability, not just in the masculine leader of a home, but in the produced results, the resulting energy created by the, you know, the combined people, the combined energies of the individuals in the group, or the, you know, the family or the home, right? Because someone here may be very focused and very stable as far as their personal goals and routine, but demanding that level of masculinity out of their whole home, their whole day, all their relationships, that amount of structure and dominance. could actually have, you know, the resulting energy be unstable, imbalanced, needing and lacking that feminine element, for example. Another detail for some of you, you know, I just want to go through these because I said that it's a detail here that we don't want to miss in trying to create this harmony, recreate this harmony, probably in a home or a family. Again, I'm quoting directly from the guidebook. We have been conditioned to believe that men and women are emotionally different when they are, in truth, the same. Now, again, this is a perspective that needs to be enjoyed. You may not see it that way. You may not believe that. Someone else here may not. But you either need to know that that's the truth you're contending with, that they don't acknowledge that truth, they don't see that, and you know that's the way that it is, or that someone else here needs you to acknowledge the possibility that's true, even if you don't see it that way, or acknowledge and respect that they do, right? And, you know, and whether it's you resisting that or not, you know, somebody needs to acknowledge whether they like the sound of that truth or not. It really could be fixing that perspective could be something that balances this home out, which we know if we allow our egos to be quiet, we know is just simply uncomfortable. It may be you running the ship, or at least making the sacrifices, and that may be why your ego doesn't want to see the fact that this isn't really a happy situation. You may not want to admit that because you don't want to split with someone, you don't want to leave somewhere, you don't want to admit that you have fallen short or failed someone in some way, if that's the way that you see it. Someone also may just be missing a very important family event. Because they've been saving all of their good energy for a project that they really want to lead forward in their lives, and they're so committed to that they're willing to sacrifice those types of important family events even. And if that's the case for you, if that happens to be how it specifically pans out for you, continue to create, continue to heal, continue to follow that journey, continue to lead with your heart, and in the near future you're going to see harmony between that that family life and this other life that you lead of pursuing your passion. You're going to find a balance. It's coming. Keep leading with your heart, following that makes your world come alive. So you definitely have the longest message so far. This has to be the longest one. It's going to just have to be the longest one overall. So I think we will leave your message there. Reading 2, I do hope that some of the needed insight was able to reach you. Thank you again. Information's below. Again, I truly look forward to doing another pick a card reading for you, which I will be doing very soon. Yeah, in the meantime, do make the most of the day, the week, the month. Bye, loves. Reading 3. I think whatever heartbreak has had control of you, has had you down, that you've been grappling with for some time, that is showing up here as the root of the situation, has had you all kinds of confused, because in the recent past with the Moon card, I feel and see illusions, even manipulation possibly, just not being aware of how others around you are manipulating you, or how you are manipulated by the energies you're exposed to because you're so down in the dumps, essentially. Now, maybe this was a heartbreak of a romantic kind, or maybe it was a letdown of another type. You know, maybe you didn't get that job you wanted, or you didn't get that part in that play. Maybe, you know, you just don't see a way forward with whatever is of the utmost importance to you at this time. You're looking for some type of help or reassurance at a moment of doubt and failure, something of that nature. But whatever it is that has broken your heart, I see a healing on the table. I see that exact same 3 reversed, a healing beginning, and you're looking directly toward it, because in this moment of illusion and perhaps fantasy, dreams, darkness, just mystery, and as I said, all not being what it seemed, you were able to look to the divine, seek the divine's help and influence, and luckily they hit you with this truth, this new perspective, hopefully offered you mental clarity, as is noted here, and is hopefully playing the role of a foundation, as is noted here, for a whole new outlook. Like I said, you're looking directly to this healing. So there may have been a 3-party situation here. We do know that with 2 3s on the table, 33 may be particularly significant to some of you. It may also hold an additional message for some of you if that's what you're looking for here. But what you are looking to and toward is healing that situation, even if it was something as nasty as a 3-party situation that landed you in Heartbreak Hotel, right? It might be, in that case, an Aquarian energy that is absent from the picture, that has done you wrong, that you are missing, that you are thinking about, perhaps, or just somebody who embodies those types of Aquarian traits. If you're wishing for someone to return, to come back out of a 3-party situation, or after, you know, some bloodshed from one, I don't think that's happening, especially if it's someone that you identify as an Aquarian. But your higher self, when your ego is quiet, is looking to healing, looking to reviving yourself, rejuvenating yourself. You just may still be in a period of darkness that may be blocked for you here. You do have a hold of this new mental clarity, this new truth, this new perspective. You have a hold of it, but you may not be ready to wield it quite yet. With that new truth and that new perspective, what does that mean you have to let go of? Who do you have to cut out of your life or stop waiting on? Who do you need to be honest with? What does it look like or sound like if you are then honest with yourself or those closest to you? What is this new truth? What does it mean for you? What does it change for you? How does it inform your next action, or who needs to be informed of it, right? If you embrace the truth that this person isn't worth waiting on, and that healing means ceasing communication and contact with them, then you will feel like you're really cutting them out. Perhaps it's already over, it's already done, they've already broken your heart, they've already betrayed you, and yet it's the decision to acknowledge that they're not for you, that they're not coming back, that what they did was too wrong to tolerate or to accept them back, right? That shift in perspective, that shift in perception of them is really what creates the strength, the ability, and the need to cut ties with them. When you do it mentally and when you do it emotionally, and you make the decision to see all that they truly are, and the decision that you will not reach out and try to rekindle something with someone who you need to totally block in the physical world, block communication with, that is what really cuts them off. That's what truly severs a tie, cuts a tie. It is that decision and commitment to back it up in the real world, in real ways. You know, you always hear it said, if you want to cut ties with someone, you can do all the rituals in the world that you want to. But if you then log onto your Facebook and do some snooping on them, well, you have not cut that tie. The tie, what really puts the power behind those rituals is that decision, is that intention. The mountain is climbed as soon as you take the first step, right? So if you decide, and in your heart and your mind you are sure and committed to the idea that you will not contact them, you will not see them the same way, you will not ignore or forgive in the same way these things that have harmed you so much in the past, you won't, maybe you can forgive it, but you won't accept it back again, right? That's why I said in the same way. You won't forgive it in a way that allows it to happen to you again. In that cuts the tie. That's the magic, that's the intention, that's the power, you know, that whether you want to dress up the ritual with other things or not. And it can be very powerful too, but that's where it comes from. It's that decision to block them. Yes, literally Facebook, sure, but in every other way as well, you know, maybe their number and etc. That's not to say you can keep yourself from thinking about someone. Again, this is the third reading in a row. It sounds very much like it's taken somewhat of a romantic turn here. But that is not necessarily all that the reading has to offer. Perhaps that's just how I am perceiving them. This does seem to be all about perception. That is the advice card that's coming through here. And so that may just be a message specifically for some. Interestingly enough, we also have the King of Air showing up on the bottom of the deck. So that'd be the second King of Air here. And then we have the Queen of Water below that. So I sense some feminine Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, and some masculine Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini energy sort of coming together here. Or two masculine air signs coming together. But again, this is all about perception. Allowing this truth to, wow. Just as I go to talk about the Ace of Feathers here, and I was saying allowing this truth to ... then here shows the Ace of Air, the same card, but in this deck. Interesting. Yeah, allowing this truth to truly shift your perspective, receive this truth, be open to this truth. It's all about your perception shifting of someone now. You don't necessarily have to cut someone out, but there is this, you are moving towards the space where you're going to be totally honest with yourself and someone else. Maybe someone else is going to be totally honest with you, but I think the brutal honesty has already come through, and that's what we see you healing from. But there is this need to shift your perception with the Star card on its head here. There's some element of the healing that needs to take place that's not fully coming through, being seen, being realized, being actualized here, or some part of the healing process that's being blocked still. Like I said, unless it's an Aquarian energy that you are blocking from your life. And you see, the thing about it is it's Aquarius season, right? And we can all show up as any of the zodiac signs all the time, I feel, because, you know, we all have all those energies in our chart somewhere. But either way, you know, I wouldn't get too hung up on the signs anyway, but either way, this new truth, new perspective, new clarity is going to allow you to approach things from a very pragmatic, practical, logical point of view here in the near future, which is really going to propel your healing forward. But some sort of perception shift needs to take place in order for you to fully take charge of and ownership of and responsibility for the greatest parts of that healing journey of yours. Or, you know, if it's not you, there's someone else here that is also enduring a heartbreak that might be even greater than yours, who's crossing your path at this time. And that might be the perspective shift, the perception that needs altered, is for you to realize that they're dealing with something that's a greater gravity, really. And that might be the logic, the pragmatism with which you're able to view your own situation in a way that helps you heal easier. Probably will feel like a more objective perspective. But this card, this perception card here, does also ask you to double check who is influencing your perception of things. Who's challenging it? Are you sure you have all the facts about what you're trying to make a judgment call about? Remember that you can't unchange a perception once you choose to show and share your truth, to wear it, to tell it, to wield it. You can't undo those things. You do want to keep that in mind. Your senses, you may have some senses trying to communicate some things to you that you're unaware of. Keep in mind that knowledge and understanding are almost always limited, right? You have this new truth now, but how many more are there out there? This is also advising you to take the high ground. Make sure you're representing yourself honestly. That's what we see. So for some of you, I didn't mean to be judgmental to you in any way, but I was reading this as you may have endured a heartbreak because of a three-party situation. For others of you, you may have broken someone's heart in some way. Maybe it was a three-party romantic situation, or just something that carried that type of betrayal, secrets, deep heartache and pain with it, right? Something of that nature. And you've been very confused about causing this, but it's time to be honest, and that's what we see you doing. Doing the honorable thing, taking the high ground, doing the honest thing, representing yourself honestly, and so a healing will begin for you and or for someone else if it's your situation. And then you get to be seen as this individual here in the near future that carries themselves that way, that conducts themselves that way, that can be trusted to that extent. You know, whose integrity is intact to that extent. It feels like, it definitely immediately will feel like the dark before the dawn for you, but you know, your higher mind knows that this is the beginning of a healing, even though it feels very, very dark. You can't see the light at present. But you have this perspective and perception that you know it's coming, because you know you've taken the first step in the right direction to create that full healing and to keep that integrity intact ultimately. Yeah, represent yourself honestly. So we see you doing that and or encountering that here. For a lot of you, and I really hope this is the case for most of you, it was a heartbreaking situation, but it turns out it was just a miscommunication. And so you're really encouraged here to double check your perception. It just keeps talking, these passages just keep talking about how your perception affects everything, influences everything. It's the way you see the world. It's the way you interact with everyone. And to the extent that I just keep thinking, well, duh, you know, but it just keeps talking and just goes on about how it permeates every nook and cranny, every crease and crevice of your life experience. And so I think really for a lot of you, what we're looking at is what felt and seemed like a heartbreaking situation because it was a miscommunication, and you just need to shift that perspective because the truth has been muddled, right? Someone, as I said, may have been pulling some strings here, trying to stir the pot, manipulate someone. But the truth is revealed, clarity comes to light, and the miscommunication can begin to untangle. Yeah, that's what above all else, I see this healing beginning. Sorry about that. I didn't think about that ad starting on us. But yeah, above all else, I see this healing beginning. And that music that started to come on, it sounded a little celebratory too. Yeah, and if that's the case, if you've just had a false perception of this miscommunication, you've been in the dark and then clarity presents itself, you find someone that you thought wronged you very much down in the dumps, not feeling like the center of attention at all, which is what you would have expected from them if they really had carried out the betrayal like you thought. And so I do believe that it should and will inspire you to be very upfront and forthright with them and admit that it was your perception that was askew here and that you had bad information that you've since gotten straightened out and corrected, and don't by any means allow your pride to overpower their healing process. They feel like they've hurt you and it's confusing if that's the case. There's been a few different storylines, a few different threads that have come through here. So you can see how the messages are varying, but if that's the storyline that you're in, you definitely don't want to be so prideful that you resist just admitting like, hey, I had this messed up. You didn't deserve that. That is the case for a lot of you. I think I already said 33 may be particularly significant, may hold an additional message. Yeah. Yeah, and for some of you, it's on, these messages are on a spectrum. So for some of you, there's just been an outright miscommunication. For others of you, what I mean to say is you and someone else just see things differently, and you may need to take some time to have that, explain. Maybe someone else has to step in to explain it to you, or, there's some truth that's revealed here that then allows you to see their perspective as well, but you're just enjoying sensing the situation, the issue at hand from different angles, from different seats, from different spots currently. But I do think that I see all of this getting straightened out with the King of Air showing up in the upright. Honesty and logic and clarity, winning out. Clarity and healing walking hand in hand. There's just this need to double check your perception. And if that is what has caused all of the heartache, be honest about it. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the others involved. So I hope that the needed insight was able to reach you here. I truly look forward to doing another pick a card reading for you as soon as I can. And I will very soon. I think I already told you to check out the description box down below for info on personal readings and donations, etc. The decks we've used. And yeah, we will move on to the next. Bye, loves. Okay, reading 4. The reading with the rose quartz in an almost pyramid shape. It looks like for you, reading 4, a transformation is trying to take place, but you don't want to let that happen. when your ego is quiet, you've got the Tower card there, signifying that you know that things need to fall apart. The foundation is cracked on which you are trying to stand. So something needs to fall apart. Is it in your home? Is it in your family? Is it your life in general? Sometimes with the Tower card. There's also a lot of Scorpio energy here. There was another reading that had some twin flame energy, and so I'm going to mention it again in your reading, in reading 4. So it's come up twice now in 2 readings. I can't remember what the first one was. I wouldn't get too hung up on that label of a divine partnership. Maybe it's a soulmate to you, or a life partner, or a soul match, or what have you. But if you are choosing between two people, 2 directions, if you are feeling one of them may be your twin flame, or sort of caught up in the hype of labeling divine partnerships, understanding those journeys. That's not all hype. I do understand that the journey has details worth going over, but at the same time, I think they're different for everyone. So if you're in that type of position, though, where you're trying to decipher which divine match you should be with, whether or not one is, for example, your twin flame, let's say, if there's a Scorpion energy in your past and a Capricorn energy that you are moving toward, seems to be part of your future, in that specific case, you know it's the Scorpio from your past. You might have some difficult truths to fess up to when it comes to what you need to say to one or the other or both of those energies, but you know it's the Scorpio, whether they're a soulmate, a soul match, a life partner, whatever it is, you know that. Now that's specific for a few of you. The rest of you, it's more the message that we started with to begin with. I apologize for the shaking, but it's more that a transformation is wanting to take place, and you know that it needs to. You know you need to let something fall apart. Maybe it is a partnership. Again, with the Tower card, it can be almost everything in your life at once. I hate to put it this way, but my major Tower moment, it was my car, my apartment, the city I lived in, the guy I was dating, my home, my friends in that city, right? It was everything all at once, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It saved my life. And things did not, I didn't know that everything needed to fall apart, but there's an indication here that a transformation started to take place in the recent past, and some part of you would like to resist, and now suddenly your energy is halted. You're not moving forward. You're stuck, and I think it's because you know that you need to let things fall apart, but you just do not want to let them. It means, again, that you have to share some truth. You have to tell someone else your truth, wield your truth, show your truth, live your truth, communicate your truth, at least to someone, if not to people in general. But when you share this truth, when you truly wield and communicate this honesty, it seems that a fight will ensue. Some type of a verbal battle, likely. Certainly a disagreement. Energies will collide, and in an explosive way. This truth will shed light on the cracks in your foundation. It will make it clear and apparent that things cannot stay the way that they are, and it will be an enlightening bolt of truth that essentially strips everything down, tears away said foundation. And I think I think for a lot of you, it is you need to share that truth. For others of you, you need to hear it, you need to receive it. There's someone else around you who has this truth to share, and it's going to come into your home, your life, your situation, and it is going to rip things apart, but it is for the best, because it is the truth. That will be the only thing left standing, is what is true, what is for you. When the tower comes falling down, that means that it was not meant for you. Perhaps you built it for yourself. And maybe it was for you for a time, or maybe you were mistaken and it never was. But the fact of the matter is that here and now, it is not for you. It is not yours, and that will be clear, and you will realize that, and there will be no escaping that. And you sense that coming with this transformation. And I think that's why you have halted progress, because you know now that the results of the next burst of energy are that you have to speak the truth, or you have to hear and receive and accept a truth. And either way, that truth, I want to say, rips your home apart. For a lot of you, that's specifically how it is. But it causes everything in your life that's false to crumble away. And if you have a lot of falsity in your life, then it might feel like everything. But there is some truth. There is some truth that you're still holding on to. And I think the reason you're headed toward the devil energy here in the near future is because you're resisting all of this. You're resisting the transformation. You're resisting communication because you're holding this truth tightly that you don't want to share. Your ego is still playing a factor. When it's quiet, you know you need to let things fall apart, but you're not ready to consciously, outwardly accept that yet. And so that's why you're headed toward this stagnant, stuck, quiet, still, dead devil energy. Interesting, because it's actually, death is actually here in the past, but this is representing rebirth for us, of course. And you can see here that in this particular version, you see how half of this picture is wanting to go backwards. The child is wanting not to go onward into life, but back into the womb from whence it came. And so you sit stuck. Where you put your energy, you will see results. But that's why you're sitting stuck, because you know that. You don't want to have that honest conversation. You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to share the truth. You don't want things to fall apart. And your ego, I want to say it like this, like, the feeling that comes through me is, sweetie, you're just biding time. I don't mean to be condescending. We've all done it, but that's what you're doing. The brakes don't work. The brakes are out, and you're just pounding them. You're just, it's wasted energy. It's wasted mental and emotional energy spinning your wheels. How can I get out of this? How can I get out of this? You are who you are, and your life is what it is. Your heart wants what it wants. You believe what you believe. Your energy, your essence, your soul, it is what it is. So that's what essentially you're trying to escape. How can I keep living this false life? You absolutely cannot forever. There's something that's keeping you there. I don't know what it is. Maybe because you think they're a certain divine partner, maybe because of something that's in that life that you built together. Trust me, whether it's children or pets or the rest of your family and friends, whatever it is going to benefit greatly from an authentic, honest version of you and anyone else involved in this situation that needs to fall apart. Way more than from, plastered smiles that are just pretending to hold things together with Scotch tape, pretending to hold a stone home together with Scotch tape. It's not real, and no one's benefiting from it. And you really, if that's the type of thought that you're holding on to, that has you hitting those brakes, that has you stopping this progress, this growth, this evolution, this epiphany, this revelation, then you really need to ask yourself what you're so afraid of, because that is just an excuse that you're creating for yourself. That in no way is healthy for anyone, to try to hold something together that's false and not real. You're not actually helping anybody. So you're afraid of something. And it's so interesting, because, what would you be more afraid of than heading toward this stagnant, stuck, chained double energy? And that's exactly where you're heading, by resisting the transformation, by resisting the fight, the truth, resisting allowing things to fall apart. You're headed toward the scariest character and the scariest place in the deck. It doesn't get worse than that. It doesn't get worse than stagnant and stuck and just sort of, what's the word? It's admitting defeat, accepting a fate that doesn't belong to you. Yeah, just submitting to that stagnant, stuck energy. And what I'm really feeling is it's you pretending a life belongs to you that doesn't. It's you pretending a life belongs to you that doesn't, and it is effing toxic. It is effing toxic, and that will not be just your burden to bear. The people close to you, if you do have children, pets, that will be something that, an infection that you share that seeps into all of your relationships. I know this is a rough one. I mean, that you, if you harbor that, if you say, okay, I'm just going to stay in this life that doesn't belong to me and it's just toxic for me and I'll deal with it, it will not just be yours to deal with. Other people will end up dealing with it. Yeah, this is like one of the harshest messages I've ever delivered, I'm realizing, but I just started getting descriptive into what it really feels like, and then I realized consciously what I was saying. Yeah. There's no way that what you're resisting is scarier than what you're heading toward. You've got to let go of the life that doesn't belong to you. And you really have to trust your intuition. Trust your intuition here about which life really is yours and is not, if you're confused, because some of you might be headed toward this devil energy that is going to encourage more confusion because you're already confused, because you've been convincing yourself that you are someone, that you want something, desire something, should be something for so long that you're confused about which one is yours or not, which life belongs to you or not. Some of you may think you're defending one that you could have sworn was for you. Like I said, with that tower energy, sometimes you did build that life for you, and maybe it was supposed to be yours for a time, but the fact of the matter and what needs embraced is that it's not yours now. And if you're truly honest with yourself, you don't want it to be. You don't want it to be, not really. But, you know, you've really got to listen to your intuition there, because if you stumble into crazyville, into crazy town, into crazy territory, you know, you can take that one step too far and just always be stuck and lost there. As far as, I mean, we will find you. We will find you out of that maze for sure. But I mean, you can end up twice as confused and stagnant twice as long, trying to figure out, you know, back to the question really of who you are. And that's what you can lose touch with so easily when you start pretending to be somebody else. We know this. We know these are cliches that we hear. We know this, right? It's a slippery slope that we humans slip off of so easily, and we don't seem to heed that warning. We don't seem to hear that. You know, actors are told the other half, we are taught the other half of your job as an actor is to come back out of character, right? You can't just go into character and think that you're a great actor or actress. No, if you don't come back out, then you weren't really pretending, and that's not acting. That's not a talent. That's not a craft. That's not a skill. You're just playing pretend. And I know a lot of kids who can do that just as well. The other half of your job as a professional is to come back out of that character. Period. So it's really scary when you see, you know, a bunch of people putting on masks, masquerading around, writing plays and stories, and then playing characters in them in real life. Because that is exactly how that type of confusion sets in. And I often want to say that to people, like, if you want to write a story and if you want to play a character, do it, try it, man. It's fun. I did it for years. I loved it. It's so much fun. Why are you trying to do that in your daily real life? Unless you're like scared for your life and feel you need to hide who you are to protect yourself. You know, otherwise it's just, to me, it gets kind of creepy, and it's for that reason, because no one is teaching these people that the other half of that game they're playing is to come back out of it. And they don't have me or people like me, maybe people like us, convinced that they are that mask they're wearing, but they sure as heck get themselves convinced that they're that mask. And it is creepy. it gets real weird real quick. I'm not trying to call you creepy group 4. I'm just saying I think that playing with that same type of fire and flame is what's happened here. And I've done it. I have done it. You maybe had your reasons why you had to be somebody else. You had to live some other way. But now it is time to remember the game you were playing, the trick you were playing, the part you were playing. It is time to remember before you get lost for too long in that maze. You chose a path. You chose a path. You made a decision and you took a step forward onto a new path. And that was the catalyst for this transformation that you've been resisting. What was that choice? What was that path? What was that direction? That's you. That's your heart. That's your soul. That's who you are. That's why you made that choice. That's why you started down that path. That's why that's why you wished in your heart that it would be the catalyst for this transformation, and then you saw it manifest because it's meant for you. It's yours. And now you're resisting it. So I even can see which one it is. The catalyst for that transformation is because of a choice of direction and path you just made. And now you want to go back? No, that's what they call cold feet. Keep moving forward. Okay, so we will leave it there now that your message is almost 20 minutes long, group 4. Thank you so much again. And I truly hope that at least some of the needed insight was able to reach you here. We do want to pull you very quickly one advice card though too. So I guess we'll let it get to 20 minutes. And it is the 4 of Earth. Look at that. Look at him. He's cracking. I know this card, I don't even need to look at it. He's cracking, right? He's trying to hold the foundation together so hard, with such stamina and determination, that his body, his arms, his skin, his life force is breaking and cracking and crumbling under the weight, because that building is not meant to be held together. Not like that, not by that person. And that's exactly what we've been talking about. You are trying so hard to hold on to something that it's not just slipping through your fingers, dears. It is crumbling in your hands. It's not there anymore. It's really not there anymore. And I love you so much, and I have been here and I have done all of this. And so I say it with so much love that anyone who is trying to push you forward down the path that is meant for you at this time, myself included, you know, it is with so much love that we are just trying to keep you from, like I said, getting lost in this maze where you continue to wander without knowing what belongs to you for a while longer. That doesn't need to happen here. It doesn't need to happen here. You've got to see where you're breaking, where you're sacrificing your own self in order to hold something together that wants to fall apart. I love you so much, group 4. And if you need a personal reading, you scroll down to the description below. We talked about that. I said thank you. I'll say thank you again. And yeah, make the most of your day, your week, your month, your Aquarius season, if that's where this finds you. And we will move on to the next reading. Bye, loves. Hi, reading 5. This is the group with the Citrine, the only raw crystal that we brought to the table. Only raw crystal we normally bring to the table. This lovely piece of Citrine. Reading 5. Okay, let's talk about it. I see that you're stressed. In this particular version of the 9 of Air here, representing you, which is from the Paulina Cassidy SpirtSong tarot deck, we have perspective and self-empowerment noted. Still, I get the feel of being stressed, feeling very defensive actually in this version of the 9 of Air. Feeling like you're not safe, like you're never safe. You have to wear a defense all the time. Very, very stressed. And it's interesting, almost a little confusing. What I see from you in your recent past is a collaboration where you are working very well with a couple of other people at least, or within a group. So the work you're doing is good work. The collaboration is working well on paper and theory as far as what is produced out of the collaboration. But there may be something about the dynamic, the personality dynamic here that is stressing you out or making you feel unsafe or like you need to defend yourself in some way. Because that's the spot we find you in at present. I do think that once upon a time, this collaboration in your recent past was not only necessary, but was also harmonious. With the Temperance card here and the root of the situation, originally this work was being done harmoniously. So either the personalities were meshing very well in the beginning, or you were just studying on your own, researching on your own, preparing to do this type of collaborative work, but in solitude, as we see Sam doing here in this image. That might be a little bit easier for you to see. Now, though you are currently stressed and you're needing a perspective shift as far as these personalities, these energies that you're working with, you're needing to feel self-empowered because something about that dynamic is stressing you out. Regardless of all that, there's a reversal of fortune on the table. So when your ego is quiet, when you're not so worried about how you're clashing with these other personalities, or you're not so worried about whatever it is that's keeping you up at night, stressing you out, causing you to doubt yourself, to worry needlessly, right? When all of that is quiet, you know that a reversal of fortune is happening here. Now, I believe and I hope that that is in terms of your continued mental state, this pattern of returning to this stressed out state of mind and state of being, right? I hope we're seeing a reversal of fortune for you in terms of that, in terms of something in your life that will squash that anxious energy that's at the center of your reading. I do hope. And for those of you that are getting along with the personalities in your current collaboration just fine, then I think that what we're looking at here is that it's just that money problems are still stressing you out. And that's exactly what is about to get cured in this reversal of fortune here. Because this can be, this Three of Pentacles, it can be a necessary collaboration, or it can be you doing work that you love to do so much you don't even notice the time passing. So it's necessary work and it is good work and the collaboration is working well, but it also may be playful and allowing you to do what you love to do, which would give cause to you worrying that you're not going to be able to make enough money. There are a lot of people out there that feel they have to choose between those things, right? Do I get to like what I do, or do I get to make money doing what I do? But this is your reversal of fortune, this collaboration, this new work you're doing. Worry not. Again, when your ego is able to quiet down, you know this is a reversal of fortune. Now, that works both ways though. So if things have been going really, really well, and suddenly you're getting this anxious, stressed energy for no reason, it may not be for no reason. It may be that there is a reversal of fortune coming. There is some challenging energy. There is some, a need to be mindful of what you have, not only in terms of money, but in terms of energy. Be mindful of protecting your boundaries. Yeah. Oh, it's like someone or something that you're working with in this collaboration, or whatever's stressing you and worrying you. It's like something is zapping your heart energy. It's like something maybe someone is tugging on your heartstrings. For some of you, there's a need to protect yourself, your boundaries from this negative, worrisome, stressed out, anxious energy. So if that's not you at the center of the reading, that stressed out energy, then it is affecting you maybe more than you know. And it may be tugging on your heartstrings because you care about this individual, whether we're talking about family or coworker or friend or what have you. But it is zapping your energy. It is hurting your energy. It somehow I said it's zapping your heart energy. That is what came out of my mouth. So I feel like in some instances, it's a matter of dealing with this constant stress, worry, fear, anxiety, whether it belongs to you or is getting put onto you from someone else. Dealing with it constantly, consistently is affecting your ability to have and show empathy toward other people. Again, whether you're noticing that or meaning to let that happen or not, be mindful of the fact that that might be occurring here. I got this, you know, that's why I said zapping your heart energy was because of the timing of this pain that I got right near my heart, that it was definitely an empathetic feel for the reading. So yeah, I'll say, repeat it one more time. This may be you, this may not be you. This stressed out, anxious, tired, you know, maybe just downright exhausted, doubtful, worrisome energy. But that's what you need to be protected from whatever's causing you to feel that way. Whatever you're allowing to make you feel that way, or whomever you're allowing to share that energy with you. For those of you that are carrying that energy on your own because you're loving the work you're doing, you've been studying for a long time to do it, but you've just been worried about finances, I absolutely believe that this reversal of fortune here, again, you should be able to connect with it when your ego is quiet. But I absolutely believe that this reversal of fortune is then about curing those finances. Still, you need to protect your energy. You need to protect your boundaries here. You may be, you and this group of collaborators who may be doing work you really love to do, may be encountering an investor who is ready to let a lot of funds, a lot of monetary energy flow out at this time, and that becomes yours and maybe your co-workers' reversal of fortune monetarily at present. Score. Beautiful. And then you're headed right toward this boss energy, this emperor. I do always notice that this depiction in the Deviant Moon Tarot shows the emperor holding a devil or a bull down. I do believe that for most of us here, what we're seeing, group 4, is that this is you becoming the boss, becoming the leader, becoming more of a leader, more of an authority figure in your life. Maybe as a part of your role in this collaboration that you've been working in. You are very studied on the subject, right? But something about this monetary shift, reversal of fortune here, allows you to squash those worries that either someone's sharing with you or you are undoubtedly sharing with other people, even though you're not meaning to. And you're squashing that double energy, that stuck, worried, fearful energy. I see you squashing that for most of you, for almost all of us. Now, there are a few, though, that I would say you are about to encounter. In particular, if you've got Taurian energy in your chart that you identify with, or Capricorn energy in your chart that you identify with, and you're about to encounter or be around an authority figure, a father figure, a boss figure in your life, a domineering Aries energy in your life, okay? And you do identify with Taurian or Capricorn energies, or even, well, we'll say Taurian and Capricorn energies, then I think that you need to take note, to be mindful that masculine dominating, probably egocentric personality that you're about to be around, that's your problem here. That's who's sharing the worry and fear. That's who's holding you down. That's what needs addressed. That then is the reversal of fortune, is your ability to identify that individual, that toxicity, that controlling personality, and acceptance changes the nature of things just by calling it out, right? Knowledge is power. Just by knowing who it is, knowing where that toxic energy is coming from, knowing where that control is coming from, that pressure, that anxiety, that worry, seeing who's doing it to you, maybe understanding why, maybe not. That's your power, because you have the knowledge, and then you can accept it, and suddenly the nature of it changes. It's a new ball game, right? I've been letting them do this to me. Well, no more. So for some of you that identify with Taurian or Capricorn, and you've got that you know, or just identify maybe with earthy energies, you have an earthy vibe, very grounded, very realistic, and there's this egocentric, egotistical, dominating energy around you. Yeah, you may be about to realize the reversal of fortune, the wealth that's coming in now, is that you're about to realize who it is that you need to protect your boundaries from, who it is that's been saying things to you, doing things to you, whether energetically or overtly, outright, without disguise, that's making you feel this way. It's either because they feel that way or they want you to. But either way, you can still own your power by saying, I've been letting that happen to me. But for many of you, it's the first message. It's more that, you know, finances are spinning around. Regardless, you need to protect your boundaries here. Someone needs to protect their boundaries here. You may also encounter someone who is insistent on protecting theirs from you if you are, as I said, really caught up in this negative, worried, fearful energy. It is contagious. I was just saying that in the last reading 3 got a similar talk, that if they let themselves continue on a path toward toxicity, they would ultimately share that with others. And so yeah, that might be what we're seeing here. You or someone else is protecting themselves from you, maybe, or vice versa, if it's not someone who's, you know, ready to invest in your work and allow a lot of money to flow outward towards you and your collaborators here. So you can see how there's a couple different messages there, how it branches off. And this is your advice card. Your advice card is the 9 of Water. This is the Dreams of Gaia tarot, though. So I want to just peek at the guidebook because these descriptions are just a little bit different. The deck itself is just a little bit different. There's actually 81 cards. The major arcana is mostly what is changed up about the structure of the deck, but each definition is specific and a little different than what you traditionally hear. But my gosh, they're all different today, aren't they? It's almost, I feel like every tarot practice is eclectic and collective, you know. Let me look over this 9 of Water for just a second for us. Yeah, just looking at these key phrases, it's saying things like ignorance is not bliss, break the cycle, remove the emotional hooks. So yes, whether your worried energy is affecting others around you or not, I really am getting that someone has done this to you. So maybe because they expect you to bear the weight of their emotional burdens with them, maybe because your coworkers, family members, partners, friends or something, maybe they just put it on you without asking, you know. You have the weight of your own emotions and someone else is sharing with you for sure. And if it doesn't seem to be overt, if it doesn't seem to be external, something that you can see in your physical world, like that person keeps talking to me, asking things of me, treating me in a way that's not fair. And that's where this energetic toxicity is coming from. If you can't find it anywhere, then I strongly suggest that you consider that someone is energetically draining you. I mean, I'm hearing so much clairaudient confirmation as I'm going through the end of this reading and this advice I'm giving you. I keep returning, keep hearing my own words saying that it's zapping like your heart energy. It's not like you have no energy, and it's not like you have no empathy, but it's draining your energy and it's draining your empathy. You see? I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And so whomever it is that's sharing that with you, whomever you have to put a stop to draining your energy, that is what this is about here. I feel, now I'm feeling with this Three of Pentacles here, it's someone that's in this close-knit collaboration with you. It's someone that's in this close-knit collaboration with you, or if all your worry and fear is coming from monetary issues, then this collaboration is actually your escape, what will free you momentarily from that monetary worry. But if you do not squash where that stress stemmed from to begin with, it will return. So it's either someone in your close-knit work collaboration, or it's someone that's been around since your childhood or for a long time, since you felt like a child, who's instilled these beliefs in you that you don't have enough. You can't make enough. You can never make ends meet. As soon as you do, something else needs bought. Someone who's just talked and talked and talked to you like that about their personal beliefs regarding physical resources, and so they've become yours. So it's someone real close to you like that, if it's not someone in this work collaboration. And if you don't squash those beliefs, then you can have as many reversals of fortune in the world as you want, but this same worry will continue to resurface, right? Because it's in your beliefs. It's what you believe you can hold. And so you've got to protect your boundaries. Is it from a dominating figure? Is it from someone who has those negative beliefs about money and wealth and health for you? Is it someone who you're working with? They're sharing this fear with you, and you've got to squash it. You've got to squash it. That's what taking responsibility for your life is all about. That's what leading your life is about. That's what leading your life means right now. Someone is draining your energy, affecting your beliefs or your energy, your empathy, or all the above. Your ability to work, your ability to feel, your ability to act, your ability to own, to rule. So you accept and you admit that you've been allowing that to happen to you. Maybe you were duped. Maybe you didn't see it. But you admit and accept that you've allowed it to happen one way or the other. And then that you're done now. That is not always, I say it that way because that is not always what leading your life means or taking control of your life means. We do not always have to fight energetic attacks or, people trying to control us or get us to bear their emotional weight. Not always, but at this point in your life, if you want to be in control and you want to lead things, then you have to first accept that you haven't been, that all this energy you're carrying isn't yours, and you need to start trying to figure out where it's coming from. And we just gave you a lot of hints, right? I don't mean to be harsh with you. I don't mean to be so commanding with you. But maybe that's what you need. You need to step into that a little bit more. That's what I see you doing here. I'm usually not that type to push you like an exercise coach or something, but I think that that's coming through so much because that's what you need to do. That's what the energy here wants you to do. Those are your alien messages in Aquarius season 2020 group 5. So I was a little too hard on you and group 4 and group 5 maybe, but that's just what came through for you. I truly hope that some of the needed insight was able to reach you here, that above all else with this advice card, you will take care of yourself, allow yourself to have what it is that you want. 9-9 I see now. 2 9s in the spread, so 99 may be particularly significant for you specifically, or if you want to look into it, it may hold an additional message for you here. So with that, I thank you again, and I hope you'll make the most of the rest of the season, and yeah, we will move on to the final group. Bye, loves. Hi, reading 6. This is the last reading. A little music on for us. This is, of course, the Black Obsidian. Group. And it looks like you all have been mourning, dealing with a loss of some sort. Your alien messages have to do with some sort of loss that you've been coping with. And at present, you feel that you don't have the strength, the courage, the endurance to deal with that loss, right? The mourning continues. You need to tame your desire for something, and I think it is this person or this energy that you've left behind, that you've had to leave behind. So we're sort of living in the root of the situation, because that's where you're living. That's where the reading is living, because that's where you're living currently, is in the root. And so the advice and the message that comes with this card is not to leave behind more than you lost. Because, you know, if you're mourning for so long over the cups that are spilt, you miss these people, these energies, these cups, this love, this emotion that's still here for you. Your back is turned to it. And everyone understands and expects that to happen for us all in a period of mourning. So for a certain amount of time, right? Everyone goes through that. But it's like you've been mourning too long, that you may lose these other people, these other energies, this other emotion and love that's here for you, because, you know, people can only wait with your back turned to them for so long. And in fact, we see that here. We see you, someone here that's crossing you, leaving a group, disappointed. And maybe because specifically they're leaving a group. So it may already, at present, the reason you're here, the reason you're dealing with it now, may be because at present it's already pushing someone away from you, because you're just stuck in this period of mourning. I see here that in the recent past, you have been giving of your energy to others, but reserving much of your energy here for yourself. And as I said, a mourning period is expected for a time. So even that was looked at like an equal give and take between you and your other loved ones, because this mourning period is expected for a time. But it's like it's gone on so long now, and you can't seem to tame your desire to keep this person or this thing, this energy from your past alive. And that's what you're doing through continuing to cry, continuing to mourn, continuing to hold on. That's your last link to that energy from your past. That's you trying to keep it alive with you. And I don't mean to be insensitive. Some of you actually may have lost someone to a death. And I'm so, so sorry. And in no way suggesting that you allow them to die by letting them go. Your relationship with them is different now, right? Your relationship with them has to transform, but you do need to squash this desire to hold on to them in a physical way when they're not here physically with you, lest you push away all of the relationships, the love, the emotions that are still there for you. And even if you didn't actually lose someone to death, if it was, you know, a split or a separation, it could absolutely feel just exactly like a death if you don't expect to ever see that person again, don't know if you ever will, right? And I don't know if it was a romantic partnership or not. For some of you, undoubtedly it will be. But when your ego is quiet, you know that this situation is compromising your wealth. Some of you know that if this was a partner of yours, that this was not someone you could have wealth and security with anyway. If it wasn't a partner that was compromising your wealth and security, then the state that you're remaining in is compromising your wealth and security. But you need your ego quiet for your intuition to be able to be loud enough in speaking on that so that you can hear it. Because your ego is eaten up with the fear of what happens if you let this person or this thing, this energy from the past go. Who do you become? And the truth of it is, the raw, uncomfortable, for me personally, for people like me, the raw and uncomfortable truth of it is that so much of the answer lies in these people who remain here for you. This support system, this love, this emotion that is here attempting to wait for you and attempting to connect with you. Not all of the answer, but so much of who you will be, what will happen next, who will hold you down. It is found in those energies that you are neglecting, that you're turning away. And I know it seems like asking too much. You're mourning, you've lost, you've been trying to give, you're doing your best, and now you need to worry that you're neglecting other people. I know it seems like a headache. I know. And the answer to that question is no. No, you don't have to worry about it, but you're going to be the one who loses if you don't. That's it. No, it's not easy. No one ever said it would be, right? They're your relationships. They're your friends. They're your family. It's your love in your life that you have left. It's your responsibility. And it does look like some of it is drifting away. Just unable to continue to be stuck in this morning energy with you any longer, feeling that they are affected by it. There's some reason why they have to drift away, or this is you. Or this is you. You're mourning a Leo energy, perhaps, or someone who your world revolved around. As I connect the Strength card with Leo energy and Leo energy with the Sun, right? It may have been someone like that. It may have been a Leo or someone your world revolved around, and so that is at the center of your reading. That is who is missing from the picture. That is why the life and energy for you in this reading is, I can feel all the way down here in the past. And so this is you exiting a group, leaving a group behind, feeling disappointed that you have to do so because you're stuck in this mourning energy, right? Because you can't celebrate with them. You can't progress with them. You're not feeling healthy. You're not feeling wealthy. You're not feeling like there's anything worth celebrating. You can't, so it's someone else drifting away from you, or you drifting away from them. Either way, it's you continuing to have your back turned on the love that remains in your life, when ultimately this partner wasn't someone you could have wealth and security with, or when ultimately not only is it eating away at the love of your life, but it is eating away at your health and your wealth as well. So you have every reason to flip this Strength card right side up and begin to show yourself some unconditional love. Mind, body, and spirit. And some of you may be thinking, that's what I've been doing. That is not what we are ever doing by remaining in this period of mourning so long. We are afraid to let someone go. We are afraid to let the relationship transform, to transmute into something divine, otherworldly, as we said at the beginning, to something that we don't understand, that we can't see, that we can't touch. We are afraid, and we are doing our best to keep something alive that has very much passed already. It is never showing ourselves unconditional love to stay in that mourning space too long. Giving your mind, body, and spirit, including your emotional body, what it needs would mean celebrating, being with friends, being healthy, being wealthy. Not measuring out the amount of time and energy you can give to the people who love you and support you. Right? And I feel like it's okay that I've been so hard on you, that I've just let you have the raw, real, and, as I said, probably uncomfortable truth in this reading, because 4, 5, and 6 have all been that way for 1, but for 2, because we have the Chariot card here in your near future, we have this confident, energetic, victorious, youthful energy, speeding ahead, full force ahead is the phrase I was looking for there. Moving full force ahead with that confidence and that youth toward new goals. It is determination, power, and will all being focused and channeled into one direction towards one goal. In fact, you know, you may even mow others down, quote unquote, so to speak, as you approach that goal. So, you know, distractions be damned. There's only going to be space for so much. Victory is only the beginning. This is a victorious energy. That's why you feel that burst of youthful confidence. You've overcome something. There is this victory here, but also victory is only the beginning. It's a very long journey from there. And you won't be distracted by frivolous things. You won't be deterred from your goals. So there is only so much space in your life when you're on a mission and a journey like the Chariots. And it looks like there's some energies here you may want to save, some emotional connections, some love, some friendship at least, that you may want to save, that you may want to have in those spots beside you in that limited space that you will have available as you charge on your victorious way, your victorious path, right? So there may be, with the Chariot card, a Cancerian energy entering your life, affecting change in terms of how long you're mourning, your ability to celebrate, feel healthy and wealthy. We may be seeing, we definitely may be seeing a Cancerian energy enter. It doesn't necessarily mean a new partner, maybe a new friend, maybe it's a counselor that you're seeing, honestly. To help you to cope with this sense of loss and this inability to exit the mourning period, to find a way that is comfortable and satisfying for you to exit that mourning period. Let me just get you one piece of advice from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot as well. Maybe a Cancerian energy who acts like a guide for you, may not be someone that you actually physically see, especially if it was a Cancerian energy that you lost here. If they have truly passed, then that's what we see here. That's what's going to pull you and push you and guide you forward once you allow this relationship with them to transform, to transmute into the two of you being connected, even with the veil between you. Even with life and death separating you, if you allow that relationship to change into that beautiful one of well, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not going to tell you what that looks like for you, but if you allow it to transform and to change into an acceptance and an awareness of their presence and their energy and their journey being separate from yours, whatever that amounts to, whatever that looks like for you, then that is the victory. That is what pushes you forward here. That is what propels you forward. Perhaps even their energy, their spirit, to some extent, perhaps their guidance. But I have heard it said recently, and it rang so very true to me, that people, again, I don't want to tell you how to view this relationship, especially if it's someone who's actually passed, but I'm just going to say what's coming through. I have heard it said, and it resonated so deeply with me, that people often want to look to loved ones who have recently passed as if as if they are now an angel, a guide, a spirit guide, almost immediately after them passing. And that has never jived well with me. That has never felt quite true to me. That has always felt like one of those things that were more about seeking comfort, really. And so I've never cared too much for that line of thought. And then I recently heard it said that that is a little bit flawed, a little bit skewed in nature. Truly, you know, they have some journeying to do before they would reach that place of being a guide or an angel for us. Now, your relationships are unique, and your relationship with anyone who's passed is certainly your own to decide about. But just consider how that information makes you feel. If you hear that and you think, bull, that's wrong, fine, you know, go with your gut, But if you hear that and it resonates and you think, yeah, that sounds more true, then follow me here, right? Walk this path with me, because it's coming through as part of your message. So if it was a romantic partnership that you've been mourning, I see this might be a Cancerian. If it was a Cancerian who you've been mourning, I see that this might be what the transmuted energy and relationship looks like, something that powers you forward, even if you wouldn't describe their supportive energy as a guide or an angel necessarily, right? It's going to be completely unique to the two of you anyway. So whatever you want to call it, as I said, it's about, I think the victory here would in that case be about just transmuting the energy in general, just accepting that the relationship is different, and then going on the journey together of figuring out what that looks like then. So maybe it's someone who has passed and so can't be with you physically anymore, or maybe it's just someone that you've separated from in some way and so you can't be with them physically anymore. But either way, you may still sense and feel, even feed off of their energy, not in a vampirical way, but in a shared, mutual, beneficial, kind sense. And that is, I believe, the victory, is accepting that the relationship has changed. They're not there physically anymore. Or your relationship with yourself, if this was not a loss of a person, if this was a loss of a past version of yourself or something in your life, then it's the relationship with yourself has changed, right? But that's the victory, is accepting that. And then if you need to go on to figure out, okay, what's the new relationship like with this person? That's the journey that you're on together. You know, sensing how you communicate with that energy, even though it's completely foreign to you all, right? Even though it's completely new. And it can be full of excitement and youthful energy. It is going to be a lengthy journey. Victory is only the beginning. You've accepted now that the relationship is different, and now you get to figure out what it looks like now. Or again, what your new relationship with yourself looks like. That's so much of what that journey is going to be about. Do remember not to leave behind more than you've lost. You are in a period of confusion. Remember that at this time, as you start to make decisions about who you need in your life, or how hard you should try to keep real love in your life, be it friends or family, etc. As you let things go and you let things slip past, and you decide maybe whether or not you do want any type of counseling for this period of mourning you've been stuck in. All of those types of decisions, keep in mind that you are in a confused energy, okay? I think you are feeling your way out of it, but there's no denying that if you're here and this resonates, you've been here too long, right? So to bear in mind that you come with a confused, somewhat lost, very indecisive at the very least, mind. You come with that mind to these decisions. So you may need help making them. You may need to take your time instead of making them in a rash manner, right? There are a lot of paths, a lot of options, and they all look a little tasteless to you. That's because something is wrong, dears. And so you may need help with that. At the very least, you need to help yourself by being incredibly, incredibly patient during that type of a time period. And I do mean at the very least. So with all of that being said, I truly hope that some of the needed insight was able to reach you here. I have so much love for you, and I thank you. Check out the description box if you need a personal reading. make the most of your time, and I will be back with another pick a card reading for us all just as soon as I can. Take care, loves.